So I was wanting to show how cool the OneUp EDC tool is. I decided to go with the pump configuration because I think it's a little bit better than, say, the going through your stem. The stem idea is kind of cool, but I don't know, at the end of the day, you would need to still take a pump with you, or at least a CO2 cartridge or something. So I think this is probably the better direction. So kind of wanted to. Now this isn't everything I would carry, but it's fairly close. The only thing that's out of frame here would be something like a spare tube for my bike. But yeah, I would always carry a tubeless kit, which, you know, this is probably a little beefier than what comes with this. I can't even remember how you open this thing. This whole case sucks. I kept it in the case because I was afraid that this would puncture somewhere in my backpack. This is a nicer tool with bigger pieces in it, but you know, it's bulky. It's kind of heavy, and I'm trying to like minimize all the weight in my pack. I carried this big, beefy, rusted up. I probably need to run a cleaner on it, but it's a good tool. Like, this is a fantastic tool, one of the best ones that you could buy, and you can still get these. I've had this thing for like 7 years. But you know, it's heavy, it's bulky. I'm trying to cut the weight off my back. Um, you know, just a simple pump I'd keep in there. I'd usually keep 2 tire levers, but for demonstration purposes, to show you what's in the EDC tool, I'm just showing 1 tire lever. And this will be, I will carry a CO2 cartridge with me on my next ride, but it will be, it'll be strapped to my frame inside a tube. That's how I'm going to carry the tubes. So just want to give a presentation to the EDC tool. So first of all, this is the pump. Now, you have to buy like a lot of these things separate, so you got to be sure 100% what you're getting. It is a little heavy. I don't know the full weight with the tool and stuff in it. I strap it to my frame. It comes with a bottle cage strap, and I've taken it off of drops and jumps, so it seems to hold fairly well. But so here's the tool. You know, it is a pump, so it is a fairly decent size one. It pushes 100cc. I opted for the 100cc. There is a 70cc one as well, but this one I'm going for as much as I can with 29 or tubeless. But it is a pretty good hand pump. But you know, it's a hand pump. What's really cool about it is you can unscrew this and screw in a CO2 cartridge into this. I'm obviously not going to do it because obviously it'd puncture it, but you can actually put air into your tire with this. So it's like a pretty cool double feature in here, especially if you're running tubeless. I've read online that you can pump this up, even if tubeless, if you got a big cut, but probably be a pain in the ass. So that's why I'm carrying that. So onto the actual tool. One thing, I find it fascinating. You could still pump up your bike with no interference because of how they lined up, how it pulls in air and intakes. So you can still pump with the tool in there, which is wild to me. So the EDC tool is pretty cool. You know, it's just a simple plastic casing. You push it here, kind of pull. It's a little like you're bending the frame. Comes out. It's this real small mini tool. It has pretty much everything you would need on a trail. So, you know, you got all your bits. You got a 2mm, 2.5, 3, 4, 6, 8, and a T25 torque. They kind of do this really clever thing to make an 8. They combine this like flathead piece, or what I assume is a flathead piece, but it combines and creates an 8 in there, which is kind of what you would use to open this up with. If this was too tight, you can actually open it. I tested it out and I was like, whoa. So you can use that as an 8. But it has quite a few things on here. You could put in another, spare, you put spare chainring bolt in here. You can put a quick link. It's got quick link storage that sets in here. So it's got like quite a bit of storage on just this unit alone. So it has a storage container here. You can opt in to like put a CO2 in there. What I kind of decided to do was run this tubeless patch kit with bacon strips that they sell. Kind of can get unthreaded pretty easily. I might put some thread tight or thread lock in there. But yeah, comes with like bacon strips. Again, they're not as beefy as those, which, I mean, obviously you probably could put those on there if you wanted. But, you know, they're decent. I haven't had like real bad issues. Comes with a chain link brake tool in there, which is pretty handy. You know, nice little CNC metal, most likely aluminum in there. And I got also a couple extra little bacon strips in there as well. So, you know, it gives you a little extra stuff. You can unthread this. I'm trying to get the whole unit off, not just the needle. You can unthread this, and you can screw on a CO2 cartridge, which obviously is not going to puncture it, but you can screw a CO2 cartridge on there, and you can just, oh, that one's too fat. You have to make sure you got one that's not as big. This is a 16-gram one, so it's actually a pretty decent one in there. It's what I use for my road bike. So once you got it back in there, it's kind of nice and sealed. Also, here's some spoke tools, chain linkage breaker right there. You would just use your tool here. You would unbolt that, flip it around, retighten it, and then you'd run this to break the chain. So it's got pretty much everything you need. This is also considered a tire lever. It seems durable enough. It's not as thick as, like, say, this one I have here, but I believe it can do the job, especially if you actually push the beads in like you're supposed to. But it seems really nice. But all you do is kind of fold the tools back. I also like that it's much smaller. Some people might not like that. I've ran into issues where this is too big of a tool, and I'm like trying to mess with someone's cassette, or not their cassette, but their mech. And I've ran into issues when I'm trying to mess with shifting that it blocks. So something like this that's more narrow that I can get in there, I kind of like that. It just fits into this groove, which is pretty cool. Just fits in there. I've seen some people complain about it being kind of finicky, but I found that if you approach it from this direction and then pushing down, and it's there. Like I don't think you can make it any easier. You just make sure the tool's kind of nice and snug. Press in. And that is pretty much all of this. And then I would put it in a bag and then put it in my pack. Strap it to the frame. I have, again, taken it on pretty beefy hits. This feels pretty locked in there. I've kind of slung it to see if I get it to move. It doesn't. You could opt into putting it the other direction if you're afraid that's going to pop and you not notice it. But it's got a nice tight seal to it. So yeah, that's the OneUp tool. I think it's freaking rad. And it's not too expensive when you combine all the tools that you would need to do these. And, you know, I ride enduro, so you're constantly needing tools, it seems. But yeah, that's it. Just wanted to show off that really cool tool. Take it easy.